What's going on, beautiful people? Daniel Mediar in the building again with another story. Today we got a story from a female follower who lost herself in a marriage and gained a bunch of weight and pretty much went through a lot of toxic stuff. And it's really interesting to hear that from a female perspective, what she went through, how she describes her experiences, etc. So we're going to go through that. And of course, before I start, you guys know you can find my services at themprotrainer.com, where you can book a single consultation or you can join my coaching program, 1, 3, and 6 months. And also, if you guys are looking for the beef that's really high quality, I own a beef company that is distributing beef in all states in the United States. It's coming from Utah and Texas. It's grass-fed, grass-finished. No antibiotics, no growth hormones, pretty much the highest quality that you can get, straight from American farmers. American raised and American slaughtered. And if you guys are looking for my weight loss methods, I published a book called Weight Loss Without Plateau. In this book, I describe all of my methods for the weight loss, calorie cycling, etc. And also, I talk about the metabolism in general, how to keep it healthy. Now, you can find it on Amazon. Again, it's called Weight Loss Without Plateau. By that being said, we are ready to start our story. All right, let's get to it. I never expected my life to unravel over something as small as a missed phone call. Yet when I look back on the 9 years I spent with Mark, I can pinpoint the start of the slow erosion of my identity to a night when I was 28, sitting in my gray Honda Accord in the parking lot of a grocery store, watching my phone vibrate over and over. I let it ring because I needed 5 minutes to myself. Just 5 small, quiet minutes. The world had felt too heavy that week, work relentless, my mother recently diagnosed with hypertension, bills stacking on the kitchen table. I wanted a moment to breathe, but breathing turned out to be an offense in Mark's world. First problem. If a woman feels emotions and she needs to organize her chaos, you gotta let her do it, okay? So when a woman feels pressure, she's gonna pull back and she's gonna organize her own chaos. You as a man, you don't react to it. A relationship with a woman is like dancing tango, okay? Like a dance. She is closer and then distant and closer and distant. That is a natural feminine energy. Sometimes she needs time for herself. You don't interrupt her. Allow her, feel her emotions, go through everything she needs to go through, and then she's going to eventually come back on her own at her own pace. By the time I pulled into the driveway, plastic bags of groceries cut in red welts into my arms, he was standing on the porch with his jaw clenched. I remember thinking he looked like a statue, rigid, cold, carved out of something unyielding. You couldn't answer your phone? He said. No greeting, no hello. I was driving, I replied, though we both knew I had ignored it deliberately. So you couldn't call back? Not even one text? I looked down at the groceries. Mark, I had stuff to carry. Can we not do this right now? Listen, you're just putting way too much pressure on your wife. Let her be. So she didn't reply, so what? Just stop being so emotional, Jesus Christ. This is an emotional man. That's why I'm telling you, a man needs to learn how to shut off his emotion. Become more emotionless. Practice the art of indifference, okay? She didn't answer now, she'll answer later. No big deal. We're doing it, he said, stepping closer. I worry, you know that. What he called worry was something else entirely. But I didn't know that then. Or maybe I did and convinced myself otherwise. The way so many women do before the truth comes unavoidable. That night ended in its usual quiet war, with him slamming the door, me tearing into a pillow and promising myself tomorrow would be better. If you're emotional like this as a man, you're going to turn any woman off. Man, masculine energy by divine is in the center of emotion. Always. This guy is being more emotional than a woman on a period. Okay? He's all running around, screaming, slamming doors, blah, blah, blah. That's bullshit. You don't act like this as a man. You practice the art of indifference. The only thing that happened is that she didn't answer his phone. Who cares? She'll call later. If she doesn't call, she's not going to call. At the end of the day, she still came home. Stop making a big deal out of nothing. But tomorrow never came in that house. Over 9 years, I lost more than time. I lost myself, piece by piece, habit by habit, aspiration by aspiration. And most visibly, I lost my body. I entered the relationship weighing 132 pounds, a size 4, energetic and driven. I left it at 218, unable to recognize the woman in the mirror, whose eyes seemed permanently ringed with exhaustion. Oh my God, this is a perfect example of how relationship just destroys you. Completely destroys you. It's like you enter as the beauty queen and you leave as an absolute chaos, overweight. This is how you know the relationship was toxic and not good for you. And on top of it, if you leave broke, Jesus, it can't get worse. This is the story of how I gained the weight, lost myself, and how I'm trying slowly, painfully to rebuild the life I should have never abandoned. When Mark and I first met, he was charming. I've since learned that many toxic men begin that way. Sweeping gestures, extravagant compliments, and relentless attentiveness that feels flattering until it becomes smothering. Yeah, this is one of the guys who puts you on a throne and will start bowing down to you like, oh my God, my queen, I'm here for you. Whatever you want, I'm going to make it happen. Like, only a lonely woman will respond to this, okay? If a woman is experienced with men, it's going to turn her off. She'll be like, oh, disgusting. He loved cooking for me, so I let him. It felt sweet at first, his big hands chopping vegetables, sliding plates in front of me with a flourish. But the food was heavy, creamy pastas, thick-cut steaks with butter-soaked potatoes, elaborated breakfasts, dippings with syrup. He liked hearty meals. Said real women shouldn't eat like rabbits. What the fuck is that? Like, what? That's why you're supposed to eat 6,000 calories a day because you're a real woman? Doesn't make sense at all. I stopped ordering salads around him. He mocked them. Yeah, well, you know, salads made no sense. But you can eat steak, but just skip all the buttery, floury, dipping syrups and all that crap, okay? Just eat animal products. You're going to be good. And when I gained 10 pounds in the first year, he laughed it off. You look better with curves. No. It's like, in what world becoming a diabetic looks better or is better for the body? That's what happens when you get super fat. He said, though, his tone sometimes made me wonder whether it was reassurance or a claim. Work became more stressful that year. I was a junior accountant at a mid-sized construction firm, working overtime regularly. I got home late, exhausted, and Mark would insist I eat the meal he prepared, even if it was 10:30 at night. You barely touched your plate, he'd say, if I tried to stop halfway. I'm not that hungry. You didn't like it? I didn't say that. Then eat. What type of weird fetish does your guy have? Of like making women fat? Like, obviously she's telling you, I'm not hungry. That means her body, biologically, doesn't need calories. It's fine. And the guy's like, eat it. Anyway, eat it. Why? What a weird fetish this is. Or is he just trying to make her as fat as possible so she cannot leave, or nobody else would be attracted to her? That's another possibility. He never raised his voice in those moments. It would have been easier if he had. Instead, he weaponized disappointment, and I became the eager student trying to avoid it. The weight crept on, 15 pounds, then 25. My body felt like something softening under pressure, like dough rising where I didn't want it to. The subtle dig started around year 4. I mean, most guys wouldn't put up with this, he said one night after I tried to squeeze into an old cocktail dress. But I'm loyal, I'm not shallow. Or, we should save money, you go through your clothes too fast now. Followed by a laugh, so I couldn't call it cruelty. He managed the finances, said he was better with numbers, which wasn't true. I worked in accounting, he worked in IT. But he convinced me that the couples should avoid disputes by letting one person be in charge. I wanted peace, so I agreed. The joint checking account had both of our names, but he changed the password for security reasons twice, and he didn't tell me until I asked. For security reasons. It's like, listen, if you're 50-50 with a woman, that means that your woman is going to work. You have no right to do whatever you want with the money. You have a business partner with beautiful boobs. That's what's happening, okay? You're no leader. in a relationship. You're not leading a relationship anywhere. She's putting her money there. A man's job is to provide the house. House, water, food, basic survivals. No luxury at all. You don't have to buy her Louis Vuitton, Gucci bags. That's her job. If she wants to spend money on it, go for it. You're not buying it. Because she's going to stop respecting you for sure. You never drop all the comfort on women. They will stop respecting you, 100%. But to provide household, that's the man's job. Okay, if you have a woman who's putting money in there, you cannot just change the password to the bank account. It's her money there too. You feel like you're the leader, but you're not. You can't provide for yourself. That's the problem. Money disappeared frequently. When I pressed him, he shrugged. Bills, repairs, subscriptions. Do you want me to show you every receipt? I said no. I should have said yes. By year 6, my salary went entirely into the joint account. I paid some personal expenses, car insurance, phone bill, on a credit card that slowly crept toward its limit. The night I'd hit 200 pounds, I remember staring at the scale on the cold bathroom tile while Mark knocked on the door. You come into bed? In a minute. You okay? I wasn't, but saying it out loud would have made it real. I started wearing oversized sweaters, leggings, anything with elasticity. I stopped visiting my friends because I didn't want them to see me. He encouraged that isolation, always with practical excuses. They're living too far, they're negative influences, they don't appreciate how busy you are. He made himself the center of my shrinking world, and I let him. 3 years before the divorce, we had the worst argument of the relationship. Worse than the silent treatments, worse than the belittling comments, wiped clean with shallow apologies. It was about money. I had discovered a $6,700 charge on our joint account, withdrawals over 2 months, ATM transactions scattered around town. When I confronted him, he looked at me like I had violated some unspoken rule. You checked the account? He asked, voice flat. Yes, Mark, it's my account too. He rolled his eyes. I was going to tell you. Tell me what? Where did the money go? It's personal. Dude, you don't have a place in this relationship to call something personal. Do you understand that your wife is paying for your phone bill? Hence, you're losing absolutely all the power in relationship. You have to speak about finances with your wife. If you want to do whatever you want with the money, you provide everything, and you keep finances separate. You pay all the bills. Then you can do whatever you want. I stared at him. Personal, it's our money. I'm under a lot of pressure you wouldn't understand. What pressure? Drop it, he said. When I didn't, he exploded, swept a stack of mail off the table, sending credit card offers and grocery coupons flying like startled birds. You never trust me, he yelled. Because she has all the reasons, dude. Jeez, these men just annoy me. You never tell me anything, I yelled back. Surprisingly, both of us, my voice cracked. I don't know what's happening anymore. I don't even know who I am in this relationship. He stopped, stared at me with the disgust I still feel in my bones. Well, whose fault is that? He said. Well, I gotta give him that. That's true. You girls should have left much earlier when you saw dude is wiping the floor with you. He doesn't respect you. He's spending your money. You're just gaining weight. You're depressed. You're not happy. You gotta go. But you were attached. That's the problem. You were in relationship attached. That means that your entire identity in the world was revolving around the marriage. That's the problem. But you're watching way too much Titanic, way too much romantic movies. This love is forever. Well, guess what? That's not how humans operate, okay? As soon as something stops working for you, you're out. What do you want to be, 300 pounds and broke? See what I mean? Like, people usually don't change. Like Mark, there's a 99% chance he's not going to change. He's just going to be the way he is. So if you tolerate this bullshit, that's all on you, girl. Hours later, I found out he had been gambling. Small bets at first, then larger ones. A coworker had introduced him to sports betting apps, and it spiraled. He didn't apologize. Not really. What's going on, brother? Welcome to the stream. I was going to win it bad, he said. You don't need to freak out. Dude, because that's how gambling works, right? I ended up taking a second client project on weekends to help stabilize our finances. He framed it as a heroic sacrifice. See, you're contributing more now. It's good for you. But I felt resentment clawing at my insides. I started stress eating, cookies in the pantry, fast food on late nights, anything that numbed the gnawing sense of inadequacy. Listen, what is that word? Inadequacy. Inadequacy. Did I get it right? Drop in a comment. At 218 pounds, walking upstairs left me winded. My knees hurt, my lower back throbbed. I avoided mirrors. He hardly touched me anymore, except out of obligation. When I tried to initiate intimacy, he often said, "Not tonight," or worse, "Maybe if you put more effort into yourself." The shame was suffocating. I felt invisible in my own house, a ghost wearing my body. It wasn't a dramatic breakup. There was no violent outbursts, no police cars, no shattered glass. It happened on a quiet Tuesday afternoon in early spring. I had come home from work early. An accounting software outage shut down productivity for the day. When I pulled into the driveway, Mark's car wasn't there, which was unusual for a weekday. Inside, I found a stack of envelopes on the kitchen table. Medical bill, utility, shut-off warning, credit card balance $11,400. My stomach dropped. I opened the credit card statement first. It listed several charges for online gambling sites. $600 here, $1,200 there, $350 on a single night. I felt sick. I sat down, my hands trembling, and realized I didn't know how we would pay rent, let alone utilities. I had trusted him blindly, surrendered at financial control, and now our lives were hanging by a thread I hadn't even noticed fraying. That's why you never, ever trust blindly humans. You think your husband is like what? Like what? Like he cares for the best for you? Like he wants the best for you? Well, that's how it should be. That's how the society draws it to be. But oftentimes the fantasy and the reality, they don't align. That's why you always double check, especially when your money is involved. How can you send your entire paycheck on a joint account that you don't have access to? Like, what are you, a child? Like, you gotta keep your own money, girl. No, you don't trust humans like this, regardless whether there's a status of marriage or not. No, it's just clearly it doesn't work. The fantasy of a loyalty and of morals is always beautiful, but guess what? People break them. He came home an hour later. "Why are you there?" he asked, noticing the bills. "What is this?" I asked quietly. He looked at the papers and shrugged. "I'm figuring it out." "You're gambling again," I said. "Don't use that tone with me," he snapped. Like, shut the fuck up would be my attitude. Dude, you're a loser and a gambler. What are you talking about? Like, you can't even handle the bills. You're gambling away our money, and you're telling me not to raise my voice, where I just found out? Oh man, if I was a woman, I would eat this guy alive. Literally, with his shoes on. "Mark, we're thousands of dollars in debt. We can't pay our bills, you never told me. I didn't tell you because you will overreact." What? I laughed, an ugly, choked sound. "This is not overreacting, this is reality. We'll figure it out." Typical gambler. "I can't do this anymore," I said before I realized the words were forming. "I can't live like this." He scoffed. "What are you going to do? Leave? With no money?" His words froze me because he was right. I had no financial independence. My savings were gone. My credit cards were maxed. Even my car was technically under his name because he convinced me refinancing it together would save on interest. He had designed my change carefully. But something inside me, something dormant and curled tight, began to unfurl. I don't know what I'll do," I said, voice shaken, "but I can't stay." He laughed, thinking I was bluffing. "Sure, okay. Let me know when you're done with your little episode." But when he left the room, I packed the backpack, grabbed my purse, my laptop, and the keys. I didn't pack clothes. I didn't pack anything else. I didn't take any sentimentals. Just the essentials and my last shred of dignity. Well, she was running for survival. I drove to my sister's house 30 miles away. When she opened the door and saw my face, she didn't ask questions, just pulled me into a hug. "You're staying here," she said, "no discussion." That's a good sister. And for the first time in years, I felt safe. The divorce took 14 months. Mark fought me on everything: financial disclosures, property division, even the car. He claimed I abandoned him, insisted that I didn't deserve alimony because he had supported my lifestyle, which was ironically given that I had supported our finances for years. Yeah, girl, you were paying for his lifestyle. Okay? Let's hear that story out. Well, yeah, this one is a tough one. So you supported his lifestyle, not the other way around. So what he's saying is called a bullshit. I guess that's the right word. The emotional toll was devastating. I cried often. I binge ate sometimes. I gained another 12 pounds in the first few months after leaving, my body clinging to the habits that had defined my coping mechanisms. But slowly, cracks of light began to seep through. My sister Angela encouraged me to take control of my finances. We sat at her kitchen table one night, spreadsheets open. "You can do this," she said. "You know the numbers, this is your job." "I feel stupid," I said quietly. "You weren't manipulated, not stupid." That's why you got to understand the game. That's why you have to know how to manipulate other people so you don't fall for it when other people try to do it with you. That's called the emotional intelligence, EQ. We created a budget, contacted debt counselors, and I negotiated payment plans with creditors. I switched my direct deposit to a new account in my own name. For the first time in years, I saw my paycheck land somewhere I could access freely. Yeah, I still don't get this one. Like, how could you just send your money to your husband every month? I don't get it. I joined a therapy group for survivors of financial abusive relationships. The first session I could barely speak, but listening to other women share their stories made me feel less alone. And then came the hardest part, reclaiming my body. Not for aesthetics, for health, for agency. I started by walking 10 minutes a day, gripping my phone like a lifeline. I felt embarrassed, out of shape, winded. But I kept going. 10 minutes became 15, then 20. I met with a nutritionist who helped me understand emotional eating. She asked, "When did you start eating to feel safe?" I told her about the first year with Mark, the pasta, the late night meals, the shame disguised as love. You learn to soothe yourself the only way you were allowed to, she said. Your body was protecting you. Protecting, that word softened something inside me. I stopped seeing my weight as a failure and started seeing it as a history. I also began journaling. The first entry read, "I do not know who I am, but I want to know." Yeah, and then also we get into a food addiction, depending, because you didn't get it if it's a steak. You were eating junk food. And junk food is designed to be even more addictive by triggering dopamine response in your brain. So you always go back to it. That's why, for example, Doritos has a slogan, "You can't only have one." Because they literally have scientists who work on chemical compounds that trigger more dopamine in your brain, so you keep going back to it. The more you eat it, the fatter you get, the more addicted you get, the more you buy it, the more money they make. Simple game. I moved into my first apartment at age 37, a small one-bedroom with peeling linoleum and a view of a parking lot, but it was mine. My name on the lease, my furniture inside. The first night, I sat on the floor eating cheap takeout and cried, half grief, half joy. I needed guidance, I needed a roadmap, but I didn't know where to start. One night I found myself on the phone with my friend Jasmine, who I had drifted from during my marriage. "So what now?" she asked gently. "What do you want for your life now?" I don't know. Pretend you do. Pretend you're giving advice to someone else. I exhaled. I want to be healthy emotionally and physically. I want to be financially independent. I want to feel confident again. I want to laugh without worrying if someone thinks I'm too loud. She chuckled. "Then write those down and start with the smallest step." So I did. Here's where I stand today. I'm 40 pounds lighter, not because I'm chasing a number, but because I'm learning discipline and balance. I'm working with a therapist weekly. I cry, I talk. I unreveal knots I didn't know existed. I'm slowly rebuilding savings. I pay my bills on time. I have a financial coach who tells me I'm doing well. I don't always believe him, but I'm trying. Yeah, just don't give access to your money to another dude, another financial coach. I work with people, financial people who give me advices for the investments, stock markets, etc. None of them have access to my portfolio. Nobody except myself, not even my wife. Nobody can access my portfolio. That's how protective you have to be of your imperium. I'm socially reconnecting, awkwardly, tentatively. I apologize to friends I shut out. Some came back, some didn't. I understand. Dating still scares me. I tried an app once, but deleted it after 12 minutes. Not because I don't want to love again, but because I want to meet myself first. Yes, and don't ever fall for a toxic relationship, which is attached love. You cannot be attached to humans. You have to be happy within. You gotta have your own money. You have to figure yourself out, stand firmly on your feet, have boundaries, and that's when you can enter a relationship. And you can share your happiness with the happiness of your partner. That's it. That's what relationships are. And if your partner is a mess, you drop him. Because it's his problem, not yours. Make sense? It's not your responsibility to fix your partner. It's not your responsibility to fix his family. It's your responsibility to fix yourself, fix your money, fix your emotional and physical health. And if you're successful at it, you do not ever let anybody disturb it. That's the boundary. If my life is getting chaotic because of you, you're gone. Out the window. Closed window. Because the truth is, I left my marriage, but I'm still learning to leave the version of myself who accepted that life. I'm rebuilding slowly, imperfectly, but with intention. I don't want to be the woman who disappeared in someone else's shadow ever again. If I'm honest, I still struggle with direction. I'm going to work emotionally, physically, financially, but guidance would help me stay steady. You're on a good road. Keep working, try to find the ways how to make more money, pick up extra shifts, have tremendous boundaries toward the world. Don't ever let anybody take your financial control away. Always be in control, even if you're dating a new guy. Okay, if you're moving with a new guy in the future, always keep your money separate. Always count on this relationship ending at any point. Be ready for it. Don't get toxically attached to another human. Don't believe that your marriage or your relationship is your life and that's what defines you. Don't lose your identity in the marriage or in the relationship. Stay firm on your feet and know who you are. Okay? That's literally what you have to do for the future. Don't fall for the fantasy as it described in the movies. Modern movies absolutely collapsed the society. They made you believe like the love is forever and you can blindly trust anybody. Clearly you can't. You trusted Mark. Look what he did. He gambled away all of your money. You don't need to get divorced twice. Once is enough, and then you learn, and you don't let it happen ever again. We got a deal, right? All right, girl, thank you so much for sending this email. Stay strong. And for you beautiful people, this was the story for today. And of course, I'm going to see you tomorrow with another story. Stay tuned, hit subscribe and a like on my video. Goodbye.